Okay, welcome to the Governance and Policy Committee. First meeting we've had in a while. There's been a lot of stuff going on, a lot of things changed and so forth, but we've been directed by council to look at a couple specific things. We're looking at one of them today, but we do have two other small things that came up in the meantime. We'll probably look at one of them first. That was the dog waste policy that was being presented by Councillor Peck. And there's some changes that need to be made that have priority for the emergency plan, so we need to look at those today as well. In fact, I'd like to do it in that order. We do the dog waste policy, the emergency plan next, and then hopefully we get to something in the CAO bylaw. The CAO bylaw has already gone to council for at least first reading. Did we do a second reading? No, we didn't, did we?
No.
Just first reading, so. I didn't get any feedback from council on that, so that's pretty much where we stand. Today joining us as Councillor Peck too. She's not normally on the committee, but wanted to come in and sit today. So just a quick cap basically of how I run this. I don't run this as a standard committee. It's run more as a round table. So there's a little bit of flexibility on like Robert's Rules of Order and stuff like that. It's just I'm looking for input from people, and then we kind of make notes and scratch things down, and then out of that, then we try to make follow-ups. I'll try to send out updates to things if we have any updates for everyone to review, and if that looks good, then it would tend to go to council. So like, don't feel like you need to hold anything back, whatever. It's just like any other round table. So. All right, and that said, let's, did anybody have a chance to look at the dog waste policy? I know that in the past I did send it, I thought I sent it to everyone for the management meeting. Did that go to everybody?
I think everybody got it, yeah.
Okay. It looks pretty straightforward. Most of it is just stating what every policy normally would. The real meat in this is the second paragraph of the policy statement. Right, the owner or any person having the care, custody, or control of the dog shall remove and forthwith properly dispose of any excrement dispositive by said dog on any property in Hannibal rural community other than the dog owner's property. It's pretty straightforward stuff. I think that I agree with it. I think it's a good idea. I don't know how we could really enforce it, but it's a policy as opposed to a bylaw. So it's not really so much that we have to enforce it with like bylaw enforcement and stuff like that. It's more of just to give people the idea of this is what we have here. We're hoping that people will willingly adopt it. It's a little less of a hammer than having some municipalities have a dog control bylaws and stuff like that, and they actually have some fines on it. I think it's more about just if we can get this into the world with a little bit more education with it. There's already a note about it right in the Hannibal Herald, I think, at one point. Just to keep letting people know that this is still a problem, and people are not cleaning up after their dogs for whatever reason, and the ones that do, for whatever reason as well, they leave the bags on the street or they chuck them into the woods, and that's a big problem. So I can't see anything really to change in this personally.
Me either, looks fine to me.
It looks fine. Any other comments from anybody else? Councillor Peck, it's your policy idea. Anything you want to say?
With respect to enforcement, I think you covered it well, but this is a policy, not a bylaw. And I drafted it as a combination of text sentences in tension from a variety of other municipalities, mostly rural communities. So there are other jurisdictions that use this, just as you said, to indicate to the public that this council has an understanding of the dangers that dog waste in an uncontrolled manner left on public land is a hazard.
Yeah.
That's all it does. So that was my intention when I drafted it.
And it seems pretty straightforward. Any other comments from anybody? Tammy?
No, I like it too. I think it's straightforward. It says what we needed to say. I wish there was something more we could do.
Education, that's all we can do.
But I recognize that there really isn't. It's been standard, at least once a year, it's been in the Herald about picking up dog waste and those sorts of things. But it just doesn't seem to be making any impact on people, and I
So
don't know
maybe-
what we can do.
Yeah, maybe having it in an actual written policy on the website and stuff, the people are looking at the website, right, some will help.
Yeah,
So what do you think, is okay to send this maybe to the management session, get feedback on it, and then fire it off to?
So what I'll do is I'll put this on the proper letterhead, format it,
Yeah,
and then it'll be good to go.
that's
perfect,
good, thank you.
easy, all right, that's one. Now, Sherry, you had some notes about the emergency plan?
Yeah, so we had an emergency, an EMO meeting on Wednesday of last week, and we were updating the emergency plan. And I just need a clarification, I think maybe, I'm not sure if it's a typo or something, but on page 3, under FV, the Director of Municipal Emergency Measures Organization, would that be the Emergency Measures Coordinator, or is that a different title altogether? Because if that should be Emergency Measures Coordinator, then we need to change that, because it's confusing everyone. Is this another person?
I think it's the emergency measure coordinator.
So, and we don't even have a definition for the Director of Municipal Emergency
That's what I was just
Measures.
looking for.
Yeah, so it's
So-
gotta be the EMC, yeah.
Because what happens is, employees, servants, agents of the municipality will advise the Emergency Operations Center, that would be us, right?
Yeah,
Of their whereabouts, and will be required to carry out the duties as ordered by the Director of Municipal, that would be.
that would be the direct, yeah, no,
That
that's
would
the
be the
emergency
EM, okay.
yeah,
So this is gonna be changed to Emergency Measures Coordinator.
Okay,
Basically, just to kind of make sure, I'm gonna go through it again and just make sure that there's no words or in here that need definitions, that aren't already defined. So that was one of them, so we'll just change that.
yeah,
Also, where was it? It says about okay. The emergency measure shall be appointed by council to assist of the clerk or senior management member, should that not be CAO?
which one
Because
is
the
this?
CAO is generally in charge of the emergency measures.
Yeah, where's this?
Page 2, number 3, the very first paragraph. Because back when we did this, we didn't have a CAO.
Yeah, it would be CAO during it.
So these are just minor changes, so this should really be able to be passed through fairly quickly. Yeah, it's there again.
Page 4.
So where was that? Page 4? Yeah, so it should be emergency measures. Yep, okay. Okay,
Could I just ask for clarification, because I did this at the last, I don't know, whether it was council or management meeting. So EMO means the New Brunswick Emergency Measures Organization. We have in here the Emergency Measures Committee. And we also have, let's just look at 3 as an example.
yeah,
The Emergency Measures Organization Committee, hereinafter called the EMO Committee.
yeah.
But how easy is that to confuse with EMO from the province? Emergency Measures Organization, NB government.
EMO from the province is NB EMO.
Yeah. And the committee would be us anyway. It's, the New Brunswick doesn't have a committee, it has an organization.
Right,
It's
so-
an agency basically, right?
So it says here, the Emergency Measures Organization Committee in A, 3A.
Yeah.
Hereinafter called the EMO Committee,
Mhm.
shall be appointed by council to consist of the clerk, da-da-da-da.
Yeah.
And then it talks elsewhere here about the Emergency Measures Organization, also shortened to EMO. So we've got EMO Committee and EMO Organization.
So,
It should be.
Right.
So in the bylaw, originally that I read, on the website, it talks about the Emergency Measures Committee of Council. So the EM Committee. And the CAO is the head or whatever. So my concern with reading this document is that we've got the EMO from the province,
Yeah.
and we've got the EM
OC.
organization committee,
Yeah.
and if we take committee off there and just say EMO committee, and it's confusing.
So I have a proposal to possibly straighten that up. So if we go back into the definitions section where it talks about the emergency measures organization
Yeah,
used in Brunswick, we could say at the tail of that, hereby referred to as NBEMO.
yeah, we could.
And then everywhere in the document
Yeah.
that we refer to it, we call it NBEMO, and that would remove any of the
Yeah.
vagueness of it.
That works.
And so then when we, there was something in the bylaw about the CAO being the head. Financial other, okay, shall be emergency measures coordinator.
Yep.
There's no page number, but it's under item 7. Shall be the emergency measures coordinator.
I don't have a number
I
7.
don't have number 7.
Oh, and the bylaw.
Oh, yeah,
You don't
for the
have the bylaw.
CAO.
Oh, sorry.
Oh,
So I'm going there
Okay.
now to make sure the CAO's terms of reference are going to be this. You're looking after the emergency measures for the municipality. And if are we calling it, that's in that one?
okay, can we
Number
go back
7.
to that in a minute? Let's
Okay.
stick with the EM emergency measures plan first.
Okay.
And then just put a pin in that, we'll come back to it when we get that document.
Okay.
Because I don't want to be walking back and forth between too many documents at once. It'll just get confusing, so just maybe make a note of it, and in a few minutes when we get to that spot, then we'll try to catch up on it.
Well,
Okay.
it's all throughout here.
Okay.
Like in number 3, F.
Okay, make notes of wherever you see it,
Okay.
and we'll get to it in a minute, because we're doing too many things at the same time,
So-
and I'm gonna get confused.
So we're gonna call, so it's gonna remain the Emergency Measures Organization Committee, the EMO committee.
Yeah,
And then I'm gonna add, hereinafter referred to as NBEMO for the Emergency Measures Organization for New Brunswick.
yeah, and anywhere in the document that it references
Yeah.
the provincial one, we'll change it to just NBEMO.
NBEMO, yeah, that can be done. Pretty easy.
Okay,
And that will definitely clarify things up.
so for the other one, was there any other confusion or questions about the additions we need to make for that?
Okay, just note one more thing.
Yeah,
For J, the last second, top paragraph.
yeah,
For the duration of the state of local emergency, council may appoint any other persons as deemed necessary by the Director of Emergency Operations Center.
there's another one of those.
So is that should be,
Same thing.
that should be EM coordinator, correct?
Be the emergency measure coordinator.
Well, it says a municipal emergency measures organization, so it would be.
Like the top of page 5.
Very first
Yeah,
line,
no.
page 5.
So is that, see, this is like, I'm not, is that supposed to be Dan DeCleva?
That's what I'm thinking.
Because during a state of emergency, we followed Dan DeCleva, would we not?
The director, I would say it would be Dan from EM.
That would be Dan.
So it'd be NBEMO and not the.
So
director.
maybe we should have a definition for Director of Emergency Measures Operations Center. There probably should be a definition for this.
'Cause that's
Should there not?
also
But it's
at the top of page 4.
Yeah, it'd be the same thing on page 4 for that director
But
there.
it says the municipal emergency measures organization there.
Right, that's different.
Different, okay. So this one in page 5 though would be the NBEMO director.
That's probably the MBEMO Director.
Well, since we don't know, you can't use a name, we just say the director of the NBEMO.
EMO,
Yeah.
yeah. So I gotta add that as a definition. Director of it.
Okay, anything else?
Do I need to do a definition? Can I just put the, find necessary by the Director of the New Brunswick
Yeah, I don't
Emergency
think you-
Operations Center?
I don't think you need the director to be defined, I think just say the director of the NBEMO.
Okay, that's what I'll do.
Yeah, because they may even change the title of that or something at some point, so
Okay.
we shouldn't be defining it.
Okay.
Anything else for this one? 'Cause if not, we could probably do first and second readings of that,
Yeah,
for very minor changes, right? In August.
I do the changes and set them right out.
Yeah. Okay, so that's two banged out in 15 minutes. So this one might be a little bit longer. So let's start with Councillor Paxton. She has some comments that she already looked up on this.
What are we at now?
Now we're on to the
CAO.
CAO bylaw. You have some comments about the emergency measures and everything.
Oh, I see, sorry.
It's good.
So it's simply
So it's 7?
the same, so 7. let's
Okay,
go with that.
so
The same thing.
shall be
So-
the emergency measures coordinator in the case of emergency. So that's right,
That's right, yeah.
yeah. That's what we should be calling it, the emergency measures coordinator. That's what'll have to be in the bylaw.
Yeah.
Shall be the emergency measures coordinator. So we're not gonna call it the emergency measures committee coordinator, it's the plan.
No, the actual name is coordinator, yeah.
Yeah, like on the bylaw, it's the emergency measures coordinator.
Okay.
Should we be more specific and say shall be the municipal emergency measures coordinator?
That would do it really
Yeah,
clearly.
just for clarification.
You mean in this bylaw,
In
in the,
the CAO bylaw,
I mean, we can.
yeah. That way there's no, it doesn't reflect potentially, is it something to do with NBEMO, right, type of thing?
Yeah.
Do we want to use the word municipal?
Municipal, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I can put that in there. I'm just gonna step out for 1 second.
On page 1 of this one, too, the CAO bylaw, mayor and councilors shouldn't be uppercase. I just saw 2 quick typos there, Sherry.
No, okay,
We'll wait.
All right, so where are these typos?
Typos, page 1 in the definitions, mayor and council, I think to keep it consistent with our other changes we made in other bylaws, mayor and councilors should be lowercase m
Yep.
and c.
Okay. So just put mayor and counselor throughout, lowercase.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Do you have the, so are we going through this now?
We are going through this right now, yeah.
Do you have the data for the question marks and the whereases?
We have to just put those in there.
Yeah, whatever they were changed with. Yeah.
Okay. Because I looked them up, but my question relates to further on regarding the authority for the CAO.
Okay, yeah.
And I looked at other municipalities, and I'm still wondering about local governance reform is over now.
Right.
And this bylaw is taking Hanwell to the future. So the aspect of the minister appoints officers for the position of CAO, I found other wording that would fit with respect to it not being local governance reform procedures anymore.
Okay,
And it's just quickly, council shall appoint a chief administrative officer for the rural community. And the duties and powers of the CAO are prescribed by the bylaw made pursuant to section 75, I think it's 80 now, but I might be wrong, with such additions or deletions as may be approved by a resolution of council from time to time. And full-time employee, et cetera. So not the information that's here.
yeah, I think, and that's because we started this before the
Yeah.
reform was done. And I agree, we should rip that out of there because she's already been appointed by the minister.
Correct.
And this bylaw should reflect of this point that it's enacted and going forward. So it should be changed to something like that, yeah. Can you send that to
Yeah.
the committee and just so we can have the note of it?
One's the town of St. Andrews and the other one is the town of Lawrenceville. Speaking of town, I looked at two and the wording was pretty much the same.
Okay.
You said Florenceville?
Florenceville
In St. Andrews.
And
Okay.
St.
and
Andrews.
St. Andrews.
Okay, I'll take a look.
There doesn't seem to be one for Carlton North. I think they're using the documents of the towns that were part of that when they amalgamated.
So which paragraph are we talking about, the second one?
The second one, yeah.
First.
Is it? Oh,
No, it's the first one.
First one
The
has-
first bullet.
First one, okay, this is fine. Okay,
it kind of relates to both of them, doesn't it?
I think
Yeah.
it relates to both.
Yeah.
I'll just look at those two bylaws and I'll just see if I can't,
Okay.
I'll just
Yeah,
work it in there.
yeah.
And because these say town, maybe that's how, at the bottom of the page, the last bullet, town manager, so we could just say rural community manager instead of town,
I would still say town.
but we're not
Because-
a town?
It's just a
That's-
common, that's common, how can I say it?
People that read this bylaw are gonna know,
Yeah.
that's what they're gonna that's what they're gonna understand, this town, like, cause they still call us a town, they call us
Yeah,
a
it's a common
village.
municipal term, basically. It's almost a generic term for anything. I've heard people call cities towns and
Yeah.
villages. A town is basically just a local spot somewhere in pop culture or whatever it is.
Somebody asked me what my position is, and I always say I'm like the CAO town manager, because not everybody knows what CAO stands for.
Yeah. And
So-
rural communities are just outside New Brunswick, so it's.
Right.
Could you say municipal manager? Manager of the municipality?
We could,
Well, we could.
Where are we seeing this?
It's very bottom of the first page.
Definitions.
Of the first,
Of
Yeah,
first
the
page,
definition.
on the page, sorry.
Or add it, town manager and or municipal manager means the CAO. Just add them both.
yeah,
Just that way we cover both bases of it.
I'm just thinking as we move forward with decision-making about services provided, for example.
Right.
Towns, cities, villages have service provision under a totally different operational process than a rural community in New
Right.
Brunswick. So the less confusion we generate, the better with this is all, since it's a bylaw. Be nice to have it really accurate.
Or don't even put it in,
Hmm?
or don't even put it in.
Yeah, you just remove it completely, you know.
Yeah, that's what I would do. I agree that.
It doesn't really need to be there.
I prefer not to use the term town, especially as we've been through some debate over whether to be a town or not.
because
Roads.
you've already defined chief administrative officer in the second bullet anyway.
Right,
Yeah.
and so.
So I don't think it needs to be there.
All
Okay, just remove
reference
it then,
should just be, yeah, chief administrative officer.
Because I think that you're right, everything else clarifies it quite well.
So then that means section 2 will have to change as well. Because the minister of local government, because that's not gonna be the same moving forward.
That's right.
Yeah,
So it's just
Maybe
really the
that
first
just comes
bullet.
out.
I would just,
Alter it.
I would say Council.
It would be council
Council
shall appoint. Shall appoint an individual, okay, and then everything else I think is the same. Except for the
That
sections will
act
change.
would be-
Which
Yeah,
one?
the section.
Yeah.
The sections will change on the act there. I'll have to look
Yeah.
that up.
Yeah.
And then the full-time appointment is also the first bullet.
Same
The
thing.
first bullet, yeah. By the council, by council.
By council.
How does 2 differ from 3?
That 3 is more about the actual, like,
Oh, what happened for the job itself? Okay,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
You probably don't even need number 3.
don't need what?
You probably don't even need number 3.
I think it's covered in all the other ones, isn't it?
Yeah, because again, it's all about local government.
Yeah. Maybe we'll take out all of 3 except move the last bullet point down to 4, which will now be 3, I guess.
Or move it somewhere else, where it makes more sense.
And your duties are,
The duties are somewhere else.
that would just be under HR anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would be. It probably doesn't even need, it doesn't even need to be in here,
Yeah,
does it?
need to be in here then, yeah.
Okay. So I gotta change all these act numbers.
Yeah.
So, just with respect to that, there's an act for local governance reform, and then there's the Local Governance Act. And wow, they're confusing. To be distinct about a certain thing, why didn't they? Whoa. It's really an exercise in confusion.
You should have seen the Municipalities Act before they replaced it with the Local Governance Act.
I remember.
Every third line just said repealed, you have no idea what it even referred to anymore. So,
So now it got repealed by the whole thing.
that whole thing replaced, repealed or replaced, yeah. Too many repeals.
Page 5, no, under 5.
Number 5?
Where did I see it? Goodness gracious, I looked up, I shouldn't have looked up. First bullet point,
Mm-hmm.
you just read that after the comma, such actions as may be necessary for.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I'll do a grammar, I'll just do like a spell check through all that thing, through it all anyway.
That the comma isn't really needed either.
Actually, that whole sentence is kind of screwed, isn't it?
Yeah, it's run-on sentence and
Screwed.
not
Such
really-
actions as may be necessary for expedient for the welfare of Hanwell.
Keep council informed on affairs coming in, shall recommend to council. Such actions as may be deemed necessary. Deemed necessary for expedient, for the welfare of Hamwell.
Keeps council affairs concerning Hanwell, which shall recommend to council such acts as may be necessary for the welfare of Hanwell, I would think, yeah.
Just remove the word expedient.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so as may be deemed necessary for the welfare
Yeah.
of Hamwell, or as required by local governance act or any other applicable legislation.
Yeah. Just remove that word expedient, change
Yeah.
to or to for. grant applications, are they signed by the clerk or are they signed by the CAO? Like reviewed by the CAO, I thought the clerk was supposed to sign.
Yeah. Does it say clerk or does it say me?
Well, it says,
Where does it say
it
it?
says shall review all grant applications in number 7 before
Number
being
7.
submitted. So it's that would be correct, they review them, but they still
Review them
be
and then
signed
authorize
by the
them.
clerk,
Yep.
The last bullet in number 7, I think it would be the Capital Region Service Commission, now that we know that's what it's called.
That's right, yeah.
The last bullet, number 7?
Yeah.
Yep.
Capital Regional Service Commission.
CRSC. So I'll make sure that's changed to it as well, if it's still in there.
Mayor should be lowercase, number 8.
Yep.
In fact, it is later on in the same sentence.
Can we go back to 5 for a second?
Sure.
So there's 3 areas in 5 that I'm wondering about.
Okay.
Because this talks about the duties and responsibilities of the CAO, correct?
Yeah.
That's what we're talking about?
Yeah.
So bullet 1, 2, 3, 4th one down, that's, I don't know where we put this, but it seems out of place there. Because this isn't a duty of the CAO, this is what council needs to do for the CAO. And the same for 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. No member of council or committee or member of a committee established by council shall request, blah, blah, blah.
I think both of those should go under number 4, relationship between council, the CAO, and the employees.
Yes.
So this is going to
Right?
4.
So they should go to 4.
So which one was also,
It was
number?
bullet 4, and then 3rd one from the bottom, no member of council.
Yep.
That one, and then I just wonder whether we need the CAO in the last bullet, because all the rest are shall attend meetings, shall.
Oh, yeah,
shall
just-
Keep it
discharge,
consistent.
right?
Just shall discharge other duties
Yeah,
as council may by resolution directing.
yeah.
Okay. Yep.
I'm good with the rest of it, I think everything else looks okay. That I can see. Oh, actually, in number 7, just the one, everything is consistent except from the 4th bullet on the second last page. It says shall, and then all directors, employees, including the clerk. You should reword that so it keeps it consistent all the way down with the shalls. Maybe like shall have.
So is this-
or something.
Other responsibilities.
It's
Okay, so again, this is not a responsibility. This is not this is not the CO's
Okay, so
responsibility.
just take that line
This
out.
goes to number 4.
Go with 4, okay.
Would it not?
Yes, you're right, it would, yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna be a stickler here, under 8,
Yes.
education.
Okay.
The CAO is responsible to continually further his, her, their professional growth by attending.
What?
Those are, well, because you're using pronouns. And you're
Oh.
already doing male, female pronouns.
Right. Okay.
Thank you.
That first bullet also, to me,
So the second will be them, him, her, them.
And her, them. Yeah,
just the way the first bullet reads under education, it seems that the council has to decide whether any of those bits of professional growth are necessary. So it reads, responsible to continually further professional growth by attending available training, seminars, conferences, or any other professional development that council deems necessary. So just the way it's worded, it means all of that has to be deemed necessary rather than the CAO feeling
That it's just necessary.
it's necessary.
Right.
So if we, or any other professional development would benefit the rural community.
Right.
How about that?
So take
Say
out,
that again, does that make sense?
So any other professional development that council feels would benefit the rural community instead of deems necessary, or, I don't know, that's still not fixing the point that
'Cause,
it's
no,
up to council to decide.
because it's not, because it's, I think,
The
there's,
CAO
it's
should
budgeted,
decide.
and you decide if it's gonna fit, so
Yes.
maybe that shouldn't even be in there.
So I'd take it out if it, I'd be happy with taking it out.
Just conferences or any other professional development, period.
Yeah,
Because
yes.
in the CAO's interactions with councillors and the mayor, there'd be opportunity to share the idea of suggestion for professional development
Right.
without it being deemed necessary.
Okay, so we'll take that right out.
Because the CAO has the professional ability to think what's a good idea for,
That's right, and if it's budgeted, they should be able to do whatever they want.
I think so.
Right.
Yeah.
That's a
So
good
how do
catch.
we resolve that, just to get that?
Or take it
council
out.
deems necessary?
Yeah, we're leaving a
after-
period
yeah,
after
period
development.
Perfect, thank you.
Yep. So this part on the bottom, on the back page, this is garbage, right? Underneath my signature?
Yeah, that was just a note.
Okay. So I'll remove that. Okay, that's not too hard, that seems pretty easy.
I've got financial, I just recall reading about and as I'm reading through now after we've discussed it, maybe it doesn't matter, I should have pinpointed it more. But there are other responsibilities in this one from, this is the one from St. Andrews, I think, that are identified more specifically. Town of St. Andrews, yeah, such as legal responsibilities and professional knowledge responsibilities and the evaluation. Have we got evaluation in here?
Yep.
Relationship. I think I remember reading that the mayor.
Yeah, it's on the third bullet in 8. The CAO is to be evaluated at the beginning of each calendar year by the
Yeah.
mayor and other members of council that the
Yeah.
mayor deems necessary.
So is that under education though?
Yeah,
But we're not evaluating the CAO's education. We're
So where should it go?
evaluating their-
you think, under
4.
4, relationship
Yeah.
between
Yeah,
council?
I would think so.
Send that to Ford.
Okay, perfect.
So legal, financial, this is St. Andrews again,
Yeah,
knowledge, professional responsibilities.
well, financials in here under
Yep,
6.
Yep. Agreed, and then, yeah. That's all.
Okay, perfect.
We probably should get something for
So are we good with legal?
Where would we put it? What would,
Like, was there, I'm just wondering.
Because there was something, in there. What does it say specifically about legal?
Because you mentioned legal.
Do we have a legal section?
Curious, yeah.
That would-
There are 5 bullets here. The CAO shall provide counsel with legal advice and interpretation as attained through consultation with the town's designated legal counsel of any and all matters pertaining to council decisions. The CAO shall authorize in the name of the rural community and subject to applicable legislation and the common law, the commencement or defense of a legal action or proceeding before a court or a tribunal, including reporting the commencement of the legal action, defense proceeding. This next one, the CAO shall, where council so provides by policy, settle a legal action or proceeding in accordance with the policy. The CAO shall ensure that sufficient liability insurance is provided to council and to rural community employees. And finally, the CAO shall ensure the legality of all contracts or agreements entered into by the rural community.
I think those 5 bullet points should be the new number 3, where we took out number 3 as full-time appointment.
So we're gonna
All 5
call,
of those.
can I have that?
Yeah, do
Yes.
you want it right now?
Yeah, I'll take that.
That's great.
Yeah,
Why don't I give you the whole thing?
Okay.
I think that's pretty much all
I'll take
and it's not stapled or anything.
Perfect.
And I just went to town of St. Andrews and
Perfect.
there it was.
Okay.
Actually, the wording was,
So that was, what did they actually call it, legal?
well, we could call it legal,
Legal responsibilities.
legal responsibilities.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I'll put that in there. Perfect.
I changed town to rural community, as I was reading.
Yep,
Yeah.
yeah, we'll
Okay,
change,
that's
that'll all
good.
be
That was
changed.
a good find, yeah, that's good.
Perfect, awesome. Makes it easy.
Anything else? Or do we actually end early for a change?
I don't know, I don't have any other, I think I've got a lot to do here.
You want me to send you the notes as soon as I get a chance to, so you just sync on it, see if anybody missed anything? I'll send it to the full, everybody was on
Send me what now?
I took notes too.
Oh, yeah, send me the
Make
notes,
sure we're all in sync with
Yep.
it.
sure.
Could I ask another bylaw? The committee, that's policy.
Community policy.
Could I ask a question about that, or are we?
Sure, well,
gonna-
we got time, extra time.
Yeah, we got time, go ahead.
Well, we don't have anything else on the agenda for today.
So, there was a volunteer form submitted.
Yep,
Okay, that's the wording I need. When I interacted with the individual, I was asked the question, what is the quorum? How many are on the committee? She asked those, the person asked those things. And I didn't know what to respond other than that, other than the committees do not make decisions. They discuss and make suggestions, recommendations, provide a level of awareness to council. So it's not necessarily that a quorum has to be written in the policy.
That's right, it'd
Is
be up to
that
the chair
correct?
really, because there's nothing defined right now in the policy for it, it's
Okay.
just up to the chair. And if the chair thinks they can take on more members, then great, but just be aware that it could become overwhelming, having too many people on a committee.
I got the impression the quorum was related to voting
It is.
on
It
the
is, and they
decision.
can't vote really
And
at
they-
committees, no.
yes.
They make recommendations and that's it.
Right, so that is,
Yeah.
that is.
That's right.
And so quorum and number of people is kind of answered in the same way.
Yeah, it's just generally consensus of the committees anyway, since they can't do any decision making, it's like if a couple people on the committee think something's a good idea,
Yes,
then the chair thinks, okay, I'll bring it back, a couple people mention this.
gotcha.
Right.
Okay, thank you very much. I don't have to call her back. The person back.
Do we know what our, like, what the next things in the hopper are for us? In terms of,
so the HR policy,
That's got to be
Right.
top list, and then after that, it's got to be
Procedural.
procedural bylaw.
Yeah,
We gotta
those
get
two.
back to that.
yeah.
okay,
And as far as I know, I think I might, we do need to, did we, for the park bylaw? We have to go back there and we have to add David Bell. Do we not? Because I don't think we
Yeah.
did that, because we didn't have it. So
That's a
I'll have to.
minor update.
It
to
is, so,
Just-
so basically it'll just be updating minor, I think, like making sure that we have all the communities in it, like kind of,
Yeah, every area and
Yeah.
stuff like that. But like the two big ones though, yeah, will end up being the HR policy and the procedural, because the procedural's dragged on for a really long time, we really gotta get that one finished. And
yeah.
For sure. Okay.
So, yeah, so,
So what happens
That's it?
now with these then?
So now, there'll be an email through everyone who was on the committee, or we'll include you in it, because you were part of the conversation, of course. With all the changes that were done, just to verify that it's as we discussed it. And then we'll end up going to probably the management meeting to say these are gonna come in for changes for council. Because we're gonna ask for council's input again, since we did change the revision that was sent out originally, right, of the CAO bylaw in particular. So,
I'm just kind of wanting to be specific about the dog waste policy, so we will bring it to the management meeting.
Yeah, you can
Ask
put it right on.
for council's position to proceed with, what's the word I need, implementing it?
Will it go on the agenda basically for a vote? Just ask
For a
council
vote.
if it'll go for a vote.
yeah, and it will,
It will most likely anyway.
yeah. And there's not 3 readings, it's just, that
It's just
gets
a policy,
adopted.
just yes or no,
Yeah.
yeah.
So with respect to motion, asking for it to be accepted, who's gonna make that motion?
Whatever we want, you can do it if you want.
So I would write it, give it to you, or you're gonna write it and I read it?
Technically, I shouldn't be writing motions.
No,
Yes, that's what I read.
But if you go back through any of the old minutes, you'll see how they're normally written.
Because I don't need to do it, I'm just
Yeah.
clarifying. So there isn't this blank on the night of whatever.
Yeah.
Where somebody's gotta do something about it.
No, council should always
Well,
come.
you proposed it, so you might as well
So
write
I'll
Yeah.
write it.
it. It doesn't have to be overly complicated, just
No.
motion to accept the,
And just-
adopt the.
And just look at the previous minutes, because they're all, we've done policies, 3 policies, I think, since, in the last 3 months or 4 months, so.
Yeah,
Okay.
I move to adopt the
Dog
dog
waste
waste policy as presented.
Yeah.
That's it, it's a one
You're
line.
good to go.
Super easy.
You're welcome.
Yes, thank you so much. I'm going to put quotations here and let that write down.
Okay, that's pretty much it, so we'll wrap it, meeting adjourned roughly 1:45.